Hey, and welcome back to the channel. My name is Alexander, and I'm a guitarist, composer, and overall music nerd from Copenhagen, Denmark. And today we're building yet again another high-gain rhythm tone using the PV Vitriol. Let's go! Before we dive into building the preset, I just want to let you know that I run a website called composition101.com. On there, you can buy Helix presets and bundles that I meticulously sit there and create like I cannot say that word, while I, with attention to great detail, craft these tones that I also do here on YouTube. I may be putting way more time into it when I do it for the website, but that's another discussion for another day. I also do impulse responses, as you will also see from this preset. It takes use of one of my own impulse responses, so I'm really excited for you to check that out as well. Of course, when you're done watching the video, and I know many of you don't watch it till the end, but please do. I have an outstanding battle with watch time these days. Feel free to follow the link down in the description and go to the website and get your free preset and your free impulse response, and you can have as much fun with it as you want. Okay, that's enough for ad time. Let's head into the walkthrough. Alright, so welcome back to Helix Edit. Yet again, it seems like we are building ourselves a high gain tone. It's becoming a part of the brand, it seems, or maybe it has been all along. Who knows? Alright, so again, fairly simple tone. The same as the previous couple of tones. I like to keep my rhythm tones, or high gain rhythm tones, in one parallel path, for it to be accessible both for the big boy Helixes, but also you guys who use HX Stomp or the other Stomp XL or whatever it's called nowadays. To be accessible to all of you, and you can always add to it. You can always tweak around and move stuff around if you wish. But this is how I choose to do it, and you have to live with it because you clicked on the video. All right, fairly basic tone yet again. We are building with the PV Vitriol again, the new kid on the block. I know I'm a little behind, and I must say it sounds killer. And you can check out the settings that I put here. It's the same guitars in the previous videos as well. The iron label, EMG 85 and 81. So it should be fairly standard kind of guitar. I think many of you people out there have the same pickups and maybe even the same sort of model. So these are the settings for the PV Vitriol, and yeah, super modern, super great and fat. And for the cap, of course, all I did with the parameters was setting the low cut to 100 Hz, high cut at 10K. Maybe we could go a little further than that, but 10K seems to be a sweet spot for me. And this is taken from my modern 4x12 cap impulse response pack. And it's an impulse response pack where I mix up a few of the modern 4x12s out there, some of the classics. There's some Mesa caps, there's a Friedman cap, and there's a Silla cap, and there's also an Engel cap. And I haven't played Engels since I was a teenager, so it was a happy reunion for me. And I love the sound of Engel caps and Engel amps, for that matter. Maybe I should do a fireball tone. Say it to me down in the comments if you want the Engel fireball tone. Okay, so that is that, and of course, if you have the pack or you buy it or something, this is modern 4x12 cap number 1, mix number 3. So only amp and cap sounds like this. Right. So it has a little ways to go, but it has some of the qualities that we like, right? There's more than enough drive and gain, and it has that nice sort of fat low end, but right now it's a little sort of sloppy and wobbly, and we of course need to tighten it up quite a bit. So for the input gate, minus 48 dB standard, decay all the way down because we want to be able to jog, right? So the drive pedal. I see I use the Horizon Drive, the Horizon Devices. It's also that's the company name. Fairly standard settings, at least in my regard as well. brightness turned up a little bit to 4.5, attack at 4, and drive at 2.5. I think that is the default, and it makes it sound like this. Right, so it solves a lot of our issues. I just need to get some more in my headphones here. Without right now, it sounds sloppy and yeah, not so defined. And we are almost there, right? This fucking drive pedal trick, it's the best invention since colored TV or something like that. Fruity Loops. Okay, same procedure as every year. The string chime EQ in the beginning. To get the clank out of the strings. So we just get, every time the pick hits, we get that spike of the attack, and it sounds so fucking cool. It really helps, especially when you play in a band or you play in a mix context and stuff like that, to cut through the mix or to cut through the other instruments and be super defined. Of course, it also gives you the pressure of you need to be playing the correct thing, you need to be playing in time, but we can always solve that in another type of video. But this is a great trick. I love it since I discovered it from Sonic Drive Studios 3 years ago, maybe almost. I've been using it, yeah, quite excessively. So that sounds really great. And we have gates because we want it to be tight. Right, doesn't really color the tone. And then we have the sort of post-amp and post-cap section. And what I like to do here is to put, in the previous 2 videos, I used the shells, the high and the low shells. And this time around, I went a bit old school in my own timeline here, and I went with the tilt EQ, which basically just takes the EQ curve and tilts it one or the other direction. So a bit like a shelf, you can choose to make the whole thing brighter from a sort of a middle point where it will tip, right? Like a, I don't know what that is called. It's not called a swing. It's called something else in English. Let me know. I'm not a native speaker. And it kind of tilts it from that point. So from here, I have chosen everything from 4K and up will be made brighter, right? And then I have the 10-band graphic EQ. And it is very on purpose that I put it after the tilt, because of course, as we know, signal chains, if you look on the screen, the sound will come in from the instrument input, right? So from the left towards the right, and will be affected in that order as well, right? So after the amp and the cab, where we sort of get the sound of the main sound of the tone, everything before that we could consider kind of manipulating the DI, the direct signal of the guitar. And everything after will, of course, affect everything that has come through the amp and through the cab as well, right? So when I tilt the EQ and make the whole tone brighter right after the cab, putting in parametric EQ after that, I am affecting or I'm manipulating the already brightened signal, right? And in this regard, it turned out exactly how it should, but it does affect my moves or my actions in the parametric EQ. Okay, so let's see if it sounds truly horrible when we just turn on the tilt EQ. Just for reference, now I've been talking for a while already. That is without, and this is with. So it gets bright in a nice way, I think, first of all, but we get that kind of hissy, sizzling sound, right? In my brain, it's lying up here. doing like that, right? And of course, we want to remedy that by more specifically, the tilde EQ is very general, right? Everything over 4K, up 35 bright units, whatever that is. I hope not. I don't hope it's dB. Then it would be horrible. And then, of course, we can do a more sort of specific type of work in the parametric EQ. So before the parametric. So in my opinion, at least where I'm sitting now, half deaf, half old, we solved the issue that we wanted to solve. We get rid of the sort of sizzling, high sort of digital sound, and we also got a bit more definition out of the mid-range, it seems to me. It gets more clear and more punchy, right? It almost sounds like the tone is sort of is pushed forward in the stereo spectrum, right? So before it's sort of a little back, a little sort of muddied over or a bit unclear, and then it steps out in the light, right? And sounds sick. Sounds good to me. I hope you like it too, by the way. But you did click the video and wanted to hear what I had to say. English today. It's early here, by the way. So lastly, I'll get out of your hair. We have the LA Studio Comp. And this is a trick that I talked about in the last few videos as well. In short, I've been talking way too long already. But in short, I used to put it before the compressor to have more playability. Not necessarily for the sound, but to be able to shred more effortlessly. I should use simple words today. But I got a lot of the from the guitar moving my hands around. So I thought I would put it in the end, more like you do in a sort of mixing, in a mixing process or whatever. And it turned out to work really great. So of course there's a volume boost, but that is for, I left it in there for sort of volume matching purposes for the the purpose that I was using this preset for. So you can of course just adjust the gain if you don't want to be cheated by the bump in volume as well, right? Alright, so that is that. I think it sounds great. And the compressor in the end, just sort of the icing on the cake, compresses, funny enough. Everything together makes it work a little better, and it just fucking hits hard and melts some faces. Thank you very much for taking the time to watch the video, guys. It truly means a lot to me, and I of course hope that you got some cool insights, or a free preset, or a free impulse response, or whatever you came here for. And it helped you out tremendously. As always, feel free to like the video, subscribe to the channel, and say hi to me down in the comments, or suggest the next preset I should build. I am kind of running on creative fumes a little bit, so a little bit of input into what you would like to see or like to hear, that is, would be greatly appreciated. So that is all for this time. I hope that you got some sick tones watching this video, and I will see you in the next one.